All right, welcome everybody. Let's come together on purpose. Ground the sit bones, stack the spine, close the eyes. Yeah, I'm unmuted. And feel into your sitting bones. Let the spine stack long from there. Just take a moment to feel into how you're being and what you're feeling. Acknowledging all the emotions. And then allowing yourself to settle into one that will serve you. Bring your hands to heart center prayer position. Seal those intentions with one sound of peace, one Om. Take a big inhale. Relax and open your eyes. All righty. Does it seem bright in here? It's super bright. It's fluorescent. We'll cut those fluorescents off in a moment. How's everyone doing this morning? You guys doing good? Cool. Cool. We normally start off this morning with a quick discussion on last night. How was last night? Anyone have a bad experience? Cool. That is one of the most powerful experiences, short of actually doing some hallucinogen, that I've had. And it's one of the most powerful things, in my opinion, is the ability to control it, right? To be able to hit the brakes or be able to hit the gas, but every single time I've experienced that, it's always been a unique experience. So I've done it a bunch of times and never had the same experience twice. And it always has been exactly what I needed at the time. Emotional releases, like I was talking about last night, laughing or crying, pulling up stuff that I had buried long ago, stuff that was emotion that was sitting inside my body that I didn't realize that was there. And usually the emotion would come up and then the memory would happen. So, and then sometimes just completely profound experiences, visuals sometimes, feelings other times. So Chris mentioned it last night, but I think a lot of you were in a different space. So whatever experience you had is the experience that you needed to have. And that's always been the way with it. Stan Groff, who's one of the originators of of kind of this, but he actually learned from Sufis and yogis who've been doing it for millennia. He's always brought up that same point of that the experience is meant to be healing. It's the whole focus of it is to bring your body back into a state of equilibrium, right? And so often our bodies and our minds, our emotions are not in equilibrium, and we're not allowing them to come back. And they naturally do it. And Chris talked about this last night, right? When you get a cut, you don't have to stare at the cut and get it to heal, right? It heals itself. The body is miraculous in that way, right? It heals itself. And a cut is just a little example. It's always, unless we push against it, unless we keep messing with the cut, right? Then it won't heal. You guys get my point, my analogy I'm trying to go bigger with, right? And if we have a wound and we keep picking at it, it won't heal, right? And so the whole point of this, and what Stan talks about is the purpose of this is to bring you back into that space, to let go of the tendency to want to scratch the cut, right? So that we come back into a balanced space. Does that make sense?
The other thing to say with that is that we, in Carolyn Mace's book, Anatomy of the Spirit, one of like the core principles she talks about is our biography is in our biology, right? Our biography becomes our biology, meaning the experiences we've had literally get stored in the cellular tissue of our bodies. This is the power of just going into a yoga class. If like in the beginning, when people have releases, they're not going in to have an emotional release or some cathartic experience. All they're doing is moving their bodies. But by virtue of our biography being embedded in our biology, all it takes is some movement to have those triggers, those releases. So that's like on a, on like a little microdose level, going to classes, 60-minute classes a couple times a week. This is like, you're getting inundated with that experience, because you can talk about it and be like, oh, that was hyperventilation. Here's the physiology behind it, blah, 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 blah. And then this is why your body did that, because of the physiology. But what can't be described is the subjective experience that you all individually had, right? What you saw, what you felt, the things that come up, the people that spontaneously appeared to you, right? And that is what that was, in our opinion, is that tissue, that memory that's in there, even if it could be even behind, like embedded in our subconscious, not even in the conscious level, things that came up that you're like, I never saw that. I didn't see that like coming. But if you think about it, like what's getting wired into who we are, it goes back to even in the womb, like the experience of our mom and dad and their relationship and what they went through is we're being influenced by that. And so we have things here that's predates any memory that we have. And it's super important because like, I don't know all the things that are working behind the scenes in my mind, but when I live and I'm conscious and I have this awareness practice, I can see those things come up and how I react to it. Most of the problems we have are how we relate to life. And that's my point, is that what this experience can do is help release the shit that may even be behind the conscious level. And so that's like, does that make sense? My point with that is simply, there's this idea that kind of pervades our consciousness that if you can't measure it, it doesn't exist. And someone could say, oh, this is the physiology, that's why you experienced what you did. But no one can tell you why what happened in the experience was the way it happened except you. And you get to make the meaning of that, whatever you want it to be. With that said, some of you may be like, I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about right now. I breathed and I chilled and it was good music. And now I'm like, I feel good. Totally fine. My wife, when the first time she ever did that, she was like, it's all right. But I also asked her like details, and there was a point at which she felt, did anyone feel that wall where you're like, I don't know if I can breathe anymore, and you just kept breathing and you like kind of broke through it? She got there and was like, nope, I'm good. And it made sense. I was like, okay, that's cool. She was like, the music was great, and it was nice. I kind of felt tingly. But that was it for her. But my point is, that's okay if that's all it was. But like, so it doesn't have to be anything. Like, we talked to people afterwards that had just like heart-opening, mind-blowing experiences. I want to normalize, if you're not feeling that way, totally cool. Not everyone does. But if you'd like to share something, now's a good time to do it.
So we did this. In the end of a teacher training. I think it was 2011, maybe. And there was a daughter and a mom that were both doing the teacher training. And the daughter, she was, I don't know, she was probably 20 or something like that, 19 or 20. She had a profound experience, and the mom, it was similar to what Chris described with his wife, pushed up right to the wall and then said, nope, I'm good, and just chilled and listened to the music. The daughter had an experience of seeing her and her mom in different past lives together. She said it was like multiple visuals of their relationship in different lives. So they were sisters. They were she was the mom, and the mom was the daughter in one. And she just described this amazing experience she had. And broke through something that she was holding on to with her mom at the time. So it was an incredible experience for her. But there's all, like, we've had people that were, there was one in that same training, I think it was, there was a woman she'd been brought up very kind of in scientific method. If you can't measure it, it doesn't exist. And she joined the military, very structured, loved the discipline of that, and never really had wasn't religious, didn't have a relationship with Source. She came out of that experience in tears and came up to Chris and I, and she was like, guys, I think I just talked to God. And she was serious. She was like, it was the most incredible experience I've ever had in my life. Anyway, so you could have full spectrum of whatever you experience. So I'll just leave it at that. If you guys want to share, you can share something. If not, you're like, nope, that's personal stuff happened. Just keep it at that. We can keep it there. And,
or if you have questions about it or anything like that.
Yeah. We can jump.
I try to get up to fast. And my spirit hadn't returned. It's really, it reminded me of, I was telling you guys when I was really young, and meditating and healing myself from dengue fever. And I would just turn up the music and lay just like that, and that music would just take you. And it kind of brought me back to that, like, more of a, I don't want to say forceful, because you kind of are breathing forcefully. Yeah, it kind of reminded me of that, but like, it was great. It was super great. So I was like, no, I'm not here yet. Wait.
Return, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Anyone else like to share questions, comments, thoughts? Yeah.
Why did my fingers go like this and get stuck?
The claw. Why did the claw happen? Usually we joke, we're like, hey, if you need any help, just raise your claw.
Hyperventilation, it draws the blood into your core, so it pulls blood out of the limbs, so you get the cramping, and the fingers do this involuntary thing.
Is this something you can do at home on your own, or is it more of a powerful experience in a group setting?
Powerful experience in group setting. It's not recommended. Stan and Steve are Steve's who we learned from, and then Stan, the originator of holotropic, recommends just doing it with people that have done it before. That's having a watcher, having someone to come around and help you if you need it. We've never had any bad experiences. We've had people get to the end and just still working through an emotional release after we're done, and so having somebody there is important. So it's not recommended to do it at home. Yeah.
I have a question. So I didn't get any. I just was relaxed.
Yeah.
But Chris, why did you go around and sit down beside people?
Because when I feel like someone's having a super intense experience, I want to help facilitate that and just be in their presence.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah. I don't have like a specific, like, I'm trying to do this. It's like, I'm not fearful of anything when I'm experiencing it. Like, I'm not like, oh, I'm concerned. I'm like, I want to be there. I want to experience it and see if there's any, like, I'm just a facilitator. I literally, when I'm in that experience, my intention is to be a channel through which Source can be here with everybody, because I want to play that role of, like, it's not me, it's you, and however I can be there for you all. And it's just something that I feel called to do in certain moments.
I was fascinated by it. I mean, I had my eyes closed most of the time, but I could always, I don't know, I couldn't hear you, but I could sense your presence.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering, like, was your energy being drawn to those places where you were going, or like, how did you know to do that?
Yeah, just intuition. I'm just feeling it. Yeah.
Do you guys hold like a class, or not a class? You guys do this at your studio?
We only do it in bigger experiences, teacher trainings and retreats. Really just teacher training and retreats. Any experiences where people work with us for a period of time. So get you guys grounded in meditation, obviously in your asana practice, but in meditation, and then a lot of the conversations that we have in teacher training. Obviously, you guys are here, or retreats. So we think it's important to give a base, to create a foundation in your life, or at least an understanding, conceptual base or foundation before you launch people into that experience. So it gives them some foundation, some at least concepts, but to work with depending on their experience. So we haven't done it like just Steve, who we learned from, does it that way. He'll go to he'll do conferences and stuff, and so he'll have a room of people he's never worked with before and take them through that experience. We tend to side a little bit more on we want people to work with us, get a foundation, and have that to lean on depending on what their experience is. So no, we haven't.
I had that thought in the car on the way here. Kind of still hungover from last night.
Yeah.
It ignited some sort of, maybe from breathing the dry air, like my allergies just like shot into overdrive. I don't have allergies, and so I spent all night just like taking antihistamine. But anyway, I was thinking, like, I'm glad I had the foundation, like the inner work prior to that, to receive the messages that came during that time, like to be open to it and to get such a dose of, like, I fell from the tree and hit all the 8 limbs. And then I landed on a samadhi limb and broke it. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. I'm grateful that I had all that inner work prior to being able to have that experience.
Yeah. And that's been our focus, is to do a big setup, like a big setup, but a big lots of work first, and then do it. So we've had talks about doing like an alumni day where we just do a big talk. We practice, do a big talk, and then at the very end of the day do that for people that have trained with us, done teacher training with us or something like that. So just get a big ballroom and have everyone have experience. So it's so that's in the works at some point.
To me, the experience was very similar to like smoking DMT.
Was it?
And I
Yeah.
had like a lot of imagery that like a lot of Western psychonauts experience, like associate with that experience, like Mother Aya. And also I saw like a great serpent. I saw a dragon.
No way. That's what I mean. The subjective experience is yours alone. And it's also informed by your, like what you've experienced and all the, doing DMT and having some frame of reference as to a mind altering experience. But what's so cool is that this is breath and music. Music's super important, by the way. Like it just is like where it brings you. Like when I think it's Dead Can Dance, the ones where the woman's singing, I'm not even breathing, and I'm like, oh my God, this is good. I feel like it. Like certain songs, I'm like, I feel like we're back on the Serengeti. Yeah.
Well, what you said, Neil, like the body produces DMT naturally, especially in stressful situations. So like the Native American, like what do they call it, the smoke lodge type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like that kind of thing will produce DMT in the brain naturally. So we probably did just drop our own DMT.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because listen, if the body doesn't produce it, you're not going to feel it. If it doesn't already have the receptors in it, like to have that's the body it is the pharmacy, and we can utilize these experiences, meditation being like the fast, slow train to have those enlightened experiences. And you do it, piecemeal over time, consistently, but every once in a while, something like this is a good like deluge of it. And I look at it like a reset, and I think after the year we've had, a good reset is a good idea, Yeah,
it's helpful.
Yeah.
In the very beginning, I don't know, you guys may have caught it in the beginning where the music just stopped for a little.
Yeah.
We were having technical difficulties. We have these crazy old iPods that we use, but they have all our playlists on them, and we've been using them for training since.
One fucking job, John.
2008. We've been doing teacher training since 2008. So give you a sense of how old these things are. Chris's iPod dropped, the battery dropped, right? So it ran out. My iPod won't run unless it's plugged in. And I was like, please just have a little bit. I got to juice Chris's up for just a minute and it'll kick on. And
It'll hold the battery.
so I unplugged mine to plug Chris's in, and mine dropped. And then so we're out of music, no music going on. So you heard Chris like kind of talking to you guys. I was like, that was not planned. Everything was started. It was chaos.
Was it?
No, I was scrambling. Chris
Good.
ran over with the phone, the light. I was like, ah!
Got my lap.
In my
He was
head, I
like,
was
where's this? Where's the where's the adapter to plug it in? So the USB cord. I was like, forget it.
chaos.
Then my mind, forget
chaos.
it. I grabbed his laptop, grabbed mine, grabbed this, because these new laptops, man, they don't have any USB ports. So you literally, it's like an octopus of connections.
Yeah,
you
hubs
know?
all over the place.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
we got
made it work.
towards the end of it, and Chris has started in the middle of a song. So mine was playing, and I had the headphones on to listen to the next song that was being queued up. And then Chris is cut off completely for some reason. I think because it was plugged into the computer, it was loading to the computer, and the computer was like, all right, it's done. You can unplug it. And it would cut off completely. Guys, I was like, no, stop.
While you all are seeing dragons and like
Floating, guys are levitating. I'm like, no, scrambling.
we're in a sympathetic nervous system. Like, ah.
Oh. Anyway, all to say we're getting new iPods.
Cool. Any other thoughts, questions, comments?
All right, cool. So we're going to jump into a discussion. We're going to talk. It's kind of a wrap up of a little bit of everything that we've talked about, minus asana, I guess, throughout the training, and then we are going to meditate, and then we'll do one more journal writing, and then we'll do some ceremonies. Yeah, let's jump in. Do you guys need a quick break? Do you guys need to the bathroom before we get started? So we're gonna go. All right, let's do a 2-minute break. Can you go to the bathroom real fast or get adjusted? We'll Chris and I'll get set up.